What's going on? Thank you for tuning into the Stimulus Podcast. This is episode 5. We got some special guests in the building. Before we get into that, my name is Deron Shields, aka Blue Skittles. And this is the Stimulus Podcast. Once again, I'm co-host of it. If you want to donate or support us, not everybody listens to podcasts. I understand that. So if you want to donate, our Cash App is $ the Stimulus Podcast. It's on the screen for our video listeners. And once again, for our audio listeners, it's $ the Stimulus Podcast. Whatever, $1, 50 cents, whatever, however little you feel comfortable giving, that's cool. Anything helps. And make sure y'all all are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the audio platforms as well. But YouTube is the best way to listen to, or consume it, because you get to see us and stuff. So that's the best way. But I'm Deron Shields. Like I said, I'm co-host. I'm gonna let my co-host jump in and introduce himself, and we're gonna get this cracked off.
Hey, what's good, world? It's your boy Vision, VYSON like site. You can find me everywhere, Vision Hunter or Vision the Great. Stimulus Podcast.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Whoever wanted to go, whatever order y'all want to go
in. Go ahead, Q.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Quentin Avens. Since we all doing AKAs, AKA Prince Q.
Okay. I like that. I like the energy.
You know. I'm the youth pastor of Bethlehem Temple. And shout out Impact Nation. And also, I run and host my own podcast, which Ron will probably get on me about that. The Cave. Yeah. He'll get on me about that. But so, in order for me to redeem myself, y'all send something through the Cash App to the Stimulus Podcast. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Yeah, I wanted you to. I was gonna make sure you shouted out your podcast too. So two left. Whoever want to introduce themselves first.
Hello, how you doing? Salutations, all that jazz. Drew Robinson. Honestly, you can follow me. I guess on you can find me on Instagram at @heisdrewby. But outside of that, I'm just excited to get the stimulus going, get the stimulus popping.
Bet. And to explain a little bit, the name of the stimulus, I had the name like it was before. I think it was actually I got my stimulus check, the little stimulus payment, direct deposit. Yeah.
Because
I got the first one. Yeah, I got the first one.
I'm just talking shit.
Some
people still ain't got theirs though. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, which is crazy.
Mine showed up like a week ago. I was like, oh,
that's right.
Yeah, so
tell me nothing that Tuesday. I was
like, right. But yeah, I got the idea. Like, I had the idea for the podcast name before, well before the stimulus thing was a thing. And it's perfect now because the stimulus is like a buzzword in our society right now. So, on all things social media, we using like hashtag the Stimulus Podcast, hashtag like stimulus. We do gaming too. We got like some gaming videos on our channel. So YouTube, subscribe, and actually, we definitely encourage everybody to actually watch the content. I'm gonna put up clips too, so if you don't want to watch the long form version, you can watch the clips and everything. But Johnny, I think you're the last one to introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse my voice, everyone. I just got done protesting last night, so do not judge. But my name is Johnny Franklin III, aka Snapshot J, also known as J Lee Trey. I have my own podcast as well, the Just Us podcast, with my other half, Yari Bird the first. Trying to think what else I got. You can find me on all social medias at J Lee Trey. Which is the secondary nickname. Also my photography page, Snapshot J, is everywhere. Yeah, man, I'm just, a good dude, being a vessel and doing what I got to do. You know what I mean?
Glad to have you, man. So for people listening that don't know and watching, so Vision is my cousin. Drew and Johnny are people I went to high school with, friends from high school. And then Q, like I said earlier, is a musician friend of mine and everything. So thank y'all for coming on the show. We're going to get this started though.
Yes.
We're going to get this ice broken. It's a little chilly where I am. I don't know about y'all, but we're going to get this ice broken real quick.
A little tad bit, chill.
Yeah. So we're going to warm it up with a game, get ourselves in the right, the right frame of mind. And let me see, I'm gonna make this bigger. But we're gonna start with a game. It's game time. And the game that we're gonna be playing for the icebreaker is y'all might have heard of it. It's called Incoherent, where you have a word on the screen and it's like kind of broken up phonetically, and you have to learn. You got to figure out what word or phrase that is. So we're gonna do it.
That's Ebonics. What you talking about?
Basically,
My parents do that all the time.
Ebonics.
right.
What?
Another thing that the white man then stole for the black from the black. Yet another thing, my brother. See, we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked. You see,
land on Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock landed on us. I've been institutionalized. I've been institutionalized.
And another thing they took.
So yeah, we're gonna play Incoherent. I'll give categories. I have to be the host of it because I had to put it together, so I know the answers, so I can't play. To be fair, but I will be the host of it, and I will give everybody, you know what I'm saying, their word, and then I'll have the answer if they get it right or wrong. We'll just do like 1 point system. So like if you get it right, you get a point. And if you don't get a point. And then yeah, you get a point for if you get it right.
Don't get a point.
It's pretty basic. So who wanna? I'll just do y'all in the order of y'all on my screen and on the YouTube video. So to my right or to my left is Drew. It's Drew. So Drew, you're gonna be up first. Then Quinn. Then Vision, and then Johnny. So I'll give you a category. I'll try to give you a category for each one so you get an idea of what you guessing at. So, but this is Incoherent. You ready for your first word?
I'm ready for my first word.
All right. So the category for your first word is Disney movie. Okay. Here it is.
Drew won.
Disney.
Disney movie. Now, for everybody that's listening, what's on the screen reads as like it's the word delete Elmer, like almost like Elmer's glue, Elmer, and then the word made. So if y'all can figure it out at home or on audio.
I know what it is.
Can't nobody help. I'm about to mute everybody else.
Little Mermaid. A Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid is correct. Ding ding ding. Hold on, I got the sound effects too. I'm trying to get professional. Hold on. But yeah, the Little Mermaid is correct.
Yeah. Oh, in there.
You in your bag. You got 1 point. Keep track of your points. It's gonna be honor system points. I can't keep track of that as well. Drew got 1 point. Quentin, are you ready for your first word?
As ready as we can be.
All right. Be also ready. You ready? This is your word.
This Disney.
No, this is not Disney. This is just a general miscellaneous word.
Okay.
It might help.
I know what it is. Damn.
Hold on. I gotta mute. I gotta mute just in case. Go. It's just me and you, Quentin. You got 10 seconds. It might help to sound it out. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No.
Hey, I was paying attention so much to them, like
that's why I had to mute everybody. Y'all over here like good answer. The word is included.
You were sounding it out though, Q.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I wanted you to keep going. He was like,
yeah, you were sounding it out though. For sure.
Okay. So next is Vision. So we got Drew with 1, and now we're going to Vision.
Now watch me fluff this up because I figured out the last one. Now watch me fluff up on mine. Wow.
Okay. For the people that were listening, the last word it said ink looted, like ink, like computer ink, and then looted, like how people are looting, but that's another subject. But ink looted was the phonetic breakdown, and it was included was the answer. Next word, Vision is up next. In this category, I'm gonna call this a category current events. This is no, not that one. Actually, not current events. It's gonna be music, but like think out of the box music, not just like songs, but music.
Ready? Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Now for our For this is 2 words. I'm gonna give you a hint.
I can't even say that. How do you okay, Ric Flair?
For our audio listeners, it's spelled WREHKURDPHLAIR. Nobody chime in. Nobody help. You had to listen to how I spelled it. But WREHKURDPHLAIR, and it has to do with music. It's 2 words. 10 seconds starting now. 9, 8.
All right, you got to
7. I don't have nothing to actually count, so I had to do that in my mind.
It's like you put more. I don't even what Rick.
When you see it, it's gonna be like, oh, okay.
Record player.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, that's is record player. Answer is record player. You pulled it out. It was looking shaky. It was looking shaky there for a second.
He did the mellow thing like this real quick.
So we got 1, 0, 1, and now Johnny is up. You ready for your word?
Yeah. What's the category?
Your category will be home, like house, home.
All right. Oh, vacuum cleaner.
Okay, yeah, that was a kind of easy one.
Oh, man,
vacuum cleaner. Okay.
What's that vacuum
cleaner right there? That's a perfect example. I had the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that was a little easy. Let me see. Let's try to do one more round. So we got what? 3 y'all got 1. Okay, so Q eliminated. We playing lightning. So Key, this is the icebreaker. So we got another. You're gonna be able to redeem yourself later on. I'm gonna come up with another game, and you'll be able to redeem yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, but the next. So who's next? Drew.
Yep.
Okay, so Drew, now it is on you. I am getting your word loaded in as I speak.
Bust the blood vessel on my word. What is this? Like, I'm looking at it like.
So to be fair, some of these are custom. Like I made them up, and then some of them are like actual like incoherent words, like breakdowns. The harder ones actually are the ones that I made, I think. But so
that was a good one though. Like I really had to settle myself and like look at it and think about it. Like,
yeah, that's classic. That's classic D Shields, bro.
Yeah. Yep. So these next ones are all gonna be just like ones that are pre-made. Cause I'm just copying and pasting. So you ready, Drew?
Let's go.
All right. Boom. Now the category for this is just like basically phrase. It's a phrase, kind of like a colloquialism. It helps sometimes to say it out loud. It helps like for the audio listeners too. All right, so for audio listeners, on the screen is the word ease, like kind of like easy, but ease, EASE, owner, and then whole, like WHOLE. It's a phrase. It's like a like a figure of speech or like a slang, like so to speak. Ease, owner, whole is what it reads as, but it's like there's 3 words to it.
Colloquialism.
Colloquialism, yep.
Okay. EO. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Time is up. Time is up. Before I reveal what it is, do y'all know what? Do y'all think I know what it is?
I don't. I've been trying to like voice it out for the longest amount of time. I don't
know. So I'm gonna walk it through. So ease, owner, whole. Ease, owner, whole. He's on a roll is what it actually is supposed to be.
He's on
a roll. So the way we're gonna play this, so that don't take too much longer. We're gonna do now. It's down to Vision and Johnny. I'm gonna give since we going in that order. We're gonna go Vision first and then Johnny. The word I'm gonna try to pick harder words so that these last rounds are real, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm nervous now.
But like I said, I'm not making these up. These ones I'm not doing custom. These are just copy and paste. This is a phrase. This is a phrase. This is a season. This is a phrase. Yeah. So Vision, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So it's long, okay, but it's a phrase.
Can't be no harder than that first one.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh, no, that's here we go.
What? Freeze, age, ha, leak, hood, fell, oh.
It's just a. It's just the it's a phrase. Let me see. It's actually more words in the actual phrase than there is in this breakdown. But it's just a phrase. It's a phrase that I think Johnny see it. Johnny, I got him on mute. I think Q nodding his head. I don't know if Drew see it. But for the audio listeners, it says freeze, age, ha, leak, hood, fell, oh.
I'm guessing the last part is good fellow or like something in that range of mine.
Just give me whatever your final idea or whatever it is.
Leak fellow. Freeze, age, ha.
You got 10 seconds.
Freeze, age, freeze. Dang. I feel like it's right here. Freeze, age, high, leak, hood, fell, oh.
And time is up. Let's just do it like this: sudden death. Oh no, I won't do it like that. 'Cause I already know that Johnny know what it is. I was gonna say Johnny if you can steal it, but
tell me what it is though.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute everybody and tell y'all what it is. So I'm gonna walk it through again. Freeze, age high, leak, hood, fell, oh. For he's a jolly good fellow.
I was about to say.
See, I knew that last part. I'm like,
good hood fellow.
Something about, but I just couldn't high and leak.
Hood fellow is kind of funny too.
It is.
He's a jolly hood fellow.
Hood fellow.
So this is it. This is the last round of it.
Here we go.
If you can get this point, this will be the end of our. I mean, it's gonna be the end either way of our icebreaker. But
buff it up, Johnny.
You will be the winner of this incoherent round. I'm just putting together your word as I speak. Prepare yourself.
I'm gonna try to use my share gun real quick. Hold on.
And you ready for your word?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's several words, but the category is I'm gonna say pop culture. Don't think think out the box, but it's pop culture. Here we go.
I'm hip.
And boom.
Mayor Eek ate Danish Lee. Let's see.
So for our audio listeners, it says Mayor Eek, almost like eat like a old Halloween thing. Ate, as in eat in past tense. Danish, then the word Lee. So those are the words. It's pop culture is the category. Like I said, I would be saying like it might help to kind of try to sound it out loud. You might hear yourself saying it before you know what it is. 10 seconds.
Ooh,
say it now.
That's rough. Mary E. K. Dennis. Ooh, yeah, I don't know, brother. I'm gonna just bow out.
Okay. Okay. Time has expired. Or it has been forfeited. Does anybody? This is the last. It's over. I don't know who won exactly, but anybody know? The tie is a draw. Whatever. Anybody know what that says?
No clue.
So it's Mayor Eek 8 Danish Lee. Mayor Eek 8 Danish Lee. Mary Beek, Kate, and Ashley. Mary, Kate, and Ashley.
Get the heck out of here.
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Shout out to Mary
Mary
Kate and Ashley,
Kate.
bro. Jesus.
Pop culture, man. Pop culture.
Jesus.
All
You
right,
could have said
that is
Nickelodeon.
I guess that would be considered. I guess.
Danishly and Ashley, Danishly and Ashley and Ashley. That concludes our incoherent icebreaker segment. I'm a mute because I'm hearing some crackling. But that concludes the game segment. We are going to jump into. We're gonna switch gears. So there's a lot going on in the world. There's a whole lot to talk about. So we're gonna jump right into switching gears, and we're gonna hit a whoa and get into this serious stuff real quick. So in Flint and across the United States, basically, it's been a lot of protests. Well, actually, before that, coronavirus. We're going to do a coronavirus update on some of the numbers, some of the statistics, and see where we stand. We did hit a pretty grim milestone recently. The date as of today is May 31st. We're moving into June. And, we hit them this week. A lot of things happened, but this week we hit a pretty grim milestone as far as being related to the coronavirus. We actually hit, I believe, over 100,000 death toll. I think it was more than like 102,000.
It's 104 right now.
104. Okay,
yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Actually, is look at some of the numbers, but that's where we stand as a country right now in death totals, as far as we know, because there's some weird categorization as far as deaths, like if somebody actually died from that or like from some underlying condition. But as far as we know, they're saying 100,000, so it could be more or less. There's some margin for error with that number, but we're gonna jump into the numbers and kind of put some context around these numbers and see where we really stand at. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and then we're gonna look at these numbers. Let me see. So I got a tab open with the statistics from Google about, what I'm saying, like the all United States death total. I'm gonna go worldwide so we can see. Y'all see my screen?
Yep.
So worldwide. So this is us. We are in first place with everything, all categories. Deaths as well, 105,000.
Wow, it went up today. Wow.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the protest and these numbers going up. I feel like it's not no coincidence, but confirmed cases we have 1.81 million. Recoveries we have 391,000. So like, I think it's important to put context on all this. Like, not everybody is dying from it, and there's a lot more people recovering than are dying. But it is hard to, like, once you have somebody that passed or like kind of connected to you, it's hard to tell them that but it's not that much. It's like the ratio don't matter as soon as it hit me one time, the ratio don't matter no more.
Yep.
So it's hard to tell somebody that. So I want to hear y'all thoughts on the entire coronavirus like debacle. This is like 2020 is a movie basically, and it's just amping up. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like the plot of a movie. Like, even if you consider like Elon Musk and Tesla sending SpaceX a shuttle into into space in the middle of a pandemic and stuff, like, are we seeking shelter on another planet now? Like, is Mother Nature choking out human life as we know it? Because the ozone layer is healing and stuff. Is the Earth fighting us back right now? What do y'all think about all this stuff?
Well, I'm down here in Florida, and I had friends who are, going out. Hey, Drew, we're going up to, we're going here. We're going to go have drinks. Hey, after work, da 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 da. Hey, I know you're, I commute back and forth. I commute. I have a long drive. Hey, I know you're going to be driving through. We can meet up. No, I can't do that. I know. Personally, I have family members. I have had my godfather has died.
Sorry to hear that.
And no, like you said, it only takes that one person for it to touch you personally, for you to just shut it. I've shut it down. Like, if it's not going to the grocery store or having to be at work, I have a mask on. I'm people. If someone's standing close to me, I'll move out the way and let them go about their business. Like, people are they're opening up the state. They're opening up different states. They're opening up things. and the virus is still out there. Like it's not like, all right, hey, we sat in place, hey, cool. All right, we did our part. We sat in place. Now it's safe to go back outside. And it's still out there. Like, it's still a threat.
Right.
I mean, we did our part, flattening the curve, making sure, the healthcare system wasn't overloaded with, cases. That's great. Now it's like, hey, how about we not go try to catch it? Like now, let's not go back out there and try to spread it. So I've been very clear with everybody I know. You won't be seeing me in any type of social situation for a while without a mask and some sanitizer saying, "Oh hey, oh, I see you. Oh no, you good? Oh no, oh, I see you. Right? Okay, yeah. Oh, text me. Yep, yeah.
Right. From a distance. From a distance.
Yeah, my man.
What about the rest of y'all? Like, what do y'all think about all this stuff going on?
Well, excuse me. Whoa, see, voice crazy. So, for me personally, because I currently work for the Department of Health and Human Services in the state of Michigan, like I track this pretty much every day now. Um, it's not the I think our curve in the state of Michigan, just not talking on a national level, but our curve in the state of Michigan is kind of getting to the flattened portion. It's kind of being steady. Um, we haven't seen the crazy amount of new cases like we have been seeing in the past couple of months. Um, Things have kind of chilled out. I think it's going to probably go up after yesterday, especially in Genesee County. But nationally, I think I just experienced a death too, just like Drew. My grandmother passed away, and they labeled it as COVID, but it wasn't. It was actually loneliness because she was in a senior living home.
Sorry to hear
And which
that.
yeah, I appreciate it. And that's going to my point that I think this is my personal belief. I think the medical system, because there's $35,000 to be made for every single COVID labeled death, they're going to actually try to label everything as COVID when it could be something totally different.
Yeah.
So some of these numbers I think are screwed or construed to a point to make it seem like a little bit worse than what it is. But I still think it's a very, very prevalent issue where you're going to see numbers spike because of the protests. You're going to see numbers spike because states are opening up, like Drew said. Like, and the perfect example would be Florida. They were the first ones, the gun hole, to open up, and we seen what happened with that when all the people went to the beaches and they had a crazy spike. I think it was like what 6,000 new cases in one weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
We've seen what happened with certain states. I'm proud of my governor, Big Gretch, aka Gretchen Whitmore. I'm proud of
Right.
her, what she's doing the slow opening, making things being appointment only inside of malls, stuff like that. I'm proud of what she's doing, but the general consensus in the country is, of course, what 45 says is we need to open this thing back up as soon as possible because I'm losing money. We're losing money. We're losing, people who's under unemployment now. There's a record of unemployment rate. This is the new Great Depression at this point. So I think the numbers are construed, but I also think that it's still prevalent and we need to kind of slow up on this slow reopening. And I think some governors in some states need to really rethink on what phases they are on and, just take a really deep look at the data versus just trying to get back out there and get your state back up and running. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah. And what about you, Q?
I think I want to agree with what Johnny said, and I want to piggyback on what he said. I think for me, the biggest thing I work with youth, and my job I work for the Flint Job Corps. So what we basically do trades, vocational trading for people that young people that need jobs and things of that nature. And we get a lot of people from the Detroit, Oakland area. And at one point in time, the virus was so strong and so prevalent in that area, and that it was pretty national. So my fear is that when they come back, because by all means, this is not over with, and it's
Right.
it's 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 not going to be over with for a long time. I don't want people to get uh misconstrued or to be kind of bamboozled or hoodwinked into thinking that this is done just because things are opening up, because that's not the case. This is just a money ploy, in my personal opinion, from 45. Because to be honest, I feel like the economy is doing well when people are still ordering online. That by itself is bringing in a bunch of money by itself. You don't necessarily have to go to Walmart. You can just sit at home and they'll deliver it to you. You know, Kroger, they'll deliver it to you. All of that stuff. So I think there's a lot of mishandling from our government, but I also think the mishandling comes from us, because when this situation started coming about, people thought it was just like the flu bug or something like that. This is not real or whatever. And even to this day, there are signs on stores that say we will not serve you if you don't have a mask on, a bandana, a shirt, something around, and people are still literally coming into the store with nothing on. So in order for this pandemic to be done, we got to follow the rules, follow the directions. Unfortunately, we're not doing that. You know, and so we're going to keep seeing the rise. Oh God, especially with what's been going on. You know, I don't think it's done. I think it's worse. It's more to come, especially with this. I believe that the numbers are going to go up. I really do.
The second wave is going to come way faster than we think. Just to piggyback off what you said, because
yeah,
even in stores, especially like in our state, you have, and everybody done seen it now. People going to protest at the state capitol with, arms, like they're playing Call of Duty. Like, listen, this is still an issue. Y'all don't want to follow directions. You don't want to wear a face mask inside of a store that's clearly telling you in their policy. These are corporations across the entire country that say, hey, you need to wear a mask to come into this institution. We've seen a lot of Karens, we've seen a lot of Susans out here thinking it's cool to just still go ahead and not wear a mask or try to claim. And I get the CDC, what it says about some people's health issues and they can't wear a mask. They don't want to be, exposed to their own germs, stuff like that. I understand that. But if that's the case, use delivery. There's so many other alternatives to get your things that you need. Like, I seen a video once before. This lady said, I got personal items I want to get. I don't want you to know what I'm buying. Like, put some tampons and some condoms. Like, get over it. Like, people still get that stuff delivered to their house. So I'm kind of disgusted at America sometimes when I look at it, because I'm like, you're not really taking it serious. But then some of us are. But the majority is not taking it serious. The minority is taking it serious. So
what you think? Yeah. What you think, Vision?
Honestly, I mean, it's easy for me to look at it different ways and believe it. Because I could believe that the earth is fighting us back for all of the bullshit that, we have brought upon her or whatnot like that. I mean, because if you think about it, the earth is a living organism. And just like us, when we have like a virus or something like that, our body sends off antibodies to fight off the virus. So, I mean, in a sense, that could be the coronavirus could be an antibody trying to get rid of some of this, virus that's killing off, the Earth's body. I could see it as being, man-made too, as far as like bio warfare, I could see it as that, like population control. But one thing I do know that is that for people to get over it, they gotta think smart. Like, they can't be like, okay, and even in times of like, it's a saying or parable that says, prepare for war in times of peace. So even like when it is like the curve is flattening or whatnot like that, I think we still have to be prepared as far as like our habits, like washing your hands, not touching a lot of stuff, not wiping your nose and shit like that. Like, I know one thing this has taught me is that, like, okay, I mean, I was already kind of like a germaphobe, but now I'm like, don't touch me, stand, I'm kind of hella stand. If I don't know you, if I didn't know you before this, I really ain't gonna try to get to know you right now. Like, that's not the time for me to be, if I ain't know you before, but as far as the virus, I do think that it is gonna spark, to piggyback on what was said earlier. I do feel like it's gonna come back around. Like, I think this summer, honestly, just as the ways everything is going, everybody is rushing to get back into business, and it's like people still getting sick, and it's like you bring some of those like halfway sick people, or like, the people that's in that incubation stage,
asymptomatic,
back into the party. It's gonna just fuck shit up, and it's gonna spark, I feel like, before August, honestly. I feel like
You just said a key word, incubation period. Good key word, brother.
It's just laying dormant, waiting. It's sleeping, waiting to wake up and see, and wreak havoc after that 14 days or whatever it is. Just because you may have you just can't. It's you got it on you in the backpack, and it's gonna come out that backpack in 14 days.
Good facts, yeah.
Go ahead, Q. You about to say something?
I just think we kind of treat this the way that people have treated the virus has reminded me of how we have treated global warming, and it being not, when we look at our presidential candidates, a lot of them, some have brought up global warming, and so people won't vote for them because global warming is not as big as the economy is. When in actuality, if we don't take care of the earth, and I know I might sound like Green Day type of dude or whatever, but if we don't take care of it, we're not going to have one. It's literally going to be done. And so it's like our thinking is only trained. A lot of people's thinking is only trained for the moment. It's not trained for future. And so when I think about this coronavirus, I'm thinking, I know for the moment y'all are mad because you gotta be in your house and you can't go out. My only response to that would be, you don't have a problem sitting in front of your computer spending 300 on Jordans waiting in line. But you want to go outside and risk your life with no mask on to stand in front of Finish Line and Foot Locker to get that sneaker, that 13 that just dropped. Right. You're not thinking for future. You're only thinking for present. So like we got to take it serious. It's a real thing. People are really dying from this. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the stupidity that comes in our world. Is fine. They said you can go out and cut grass. They said that you can go out and have gatherings of 10. But Memorial Day hit, and y'all was having block parties. Stupid.
Right. And it's all kind of, even before a lot of stuff got lifted, there was a this big house party in Chicago, where like people was in the party, but they got on masks and stuff. Like, it's like, okay, the mask is only going to do so much. A lot of these people, they're not even wearing the N95s. They're wearing the typical surgical mask. Speaking of, though, I'm about to show y'all, the video I'm talking about. But they're wearing the typical like standard issue surgical mask, which is originally created for like the surgeon not to get anything into the patient during the operation. It's meant to keep things from coming out. So those are only meant to do so much as they are, and then so you're not wearing the type of mask that's actually rated to have an effect. But this is the video I'm talking about right here for our YouTube listeners or watchers. Oh, I gotta add, this is YouTube. But while that's going, I'm gonna say, it was packed, like it was like standing room only type stuff, like in this Chicago house, and it was during like some of the height of it. As you can see it on my screen right now. It's blurred. I think it's a news story, but it's standing room only. Basically, it's packed on the stairwell and stuff like that. Mayor of Chicago. Well, I ain't gonna get on her, but in all seriousness, like they packed into this house. The video won't load up anyway. They packed into this house, standing room only, as if nothing is happening. Like as if somebody said that was okay to do. And then they find it as a coincidence that like a week later we see, or a day later, 2 days later, we see a spike in our numbers in confirmed cases. It's like it's really cause and effect. It's really not that hard to figure out. It's very simple. Saying like the concepts that we got going on, but we're so selfish as Americans. We're spoiled. Like, this is a first world country. We got first world problems. We don't understand basic necessities. We're not used to being in the position where we need to be, we need to really heed certain direction, like to a T. We so used to being able to do whatever we want to do. We so used to having everything custom to our personal preferences. We got church how we want it. We got food how we want it. We got everything the way we want it because we're so selfish, and like and just like self-centered as a country. We just big spoiled kids as a country, like geographically and like societally. All of our social norm, and then but things we have the biggest influence, which is the stupidest part. And honestly, I talk about make America great again. Like that phrase, I mean, it's way more true. It's way more necessary to be made great again now than it was before Donald Trump got got in office.
Right. That
Like
really should be Biden's slogan. Like, Biden really should run on "Make America Great Again."
it's like now we in a position where we definitely need to make it great because it's definitely not great right now. I'm telling you that.
Exactly.
Make America great again.
I also just think that what's this is like the most appalling thing to me. Governors having their own agendas on like restrictions, when to open up, certain phases. Like we see some positivity in that. I'll give an example of Pennsylvania. They are on phase 2, I believe, which is giving people a chance to go to restaurants again, but they have to go outside. They cannot do it inside, right? So there's some places where, or some states where it's okay to do certain things, but they have to do it in a style where it's still outside or still in the air, where air is ventilating outside. Because if you look at it on a scientific level, and I pretty much everybody can agree with this, when you dine inside, there's a ventilator, and if one person is sick, all of this other stuff is going to spread to everybody else, right? But there's some states like Ohio where they allow people to still have restaurant time inside of a coffee shop, inside of a cafe shop, inside of a restaurant, inside of a pizzeria. Like that doesn't make sense.
These
So now
problems,
Ohio's going to have a. What'd you say, Drew?
these problems wouldn't occur. You wouldn't have these issues of, hey, it's okay to do this in Ohio, but you drive north 2 hours and in Michigan you can't. You wouldn't have these different standards if there was actual leadership from the top. There was actually a national system of how we're going to go about this. But since it's every man for themselves, every state for themselves. Whatever the politics in your state, that's what you should do with the virus, and that's not the way viruses work. If there's, what I'm saying, viruses don't care, who you vote for or where you live on this, map. So it's if you had leadership from the top, that wouldn't be an issue, but we don't have that. So I can say, if you want to open your state, like I'm in Florida once again. We're open up. Businesses are people are going to restaurants. People are I don't know about bars yet, but people are going to restaurants. People are going out. You can get together with people. All the beaches are open. My thing is, if you're going to do it, at least have some type of testing in place. Like I got a test. It took a week and a half. It took me a week to get my results back. So like, how good is that? I mean, I take a test on Monday. I don't get it till next Tuesday. I done lived a whole week worth of life between the time I got that test and the time I received my results. So now, like, well, do I really have it or I'm not? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So, or you could catch it within that week and before you even get your result. So by the time you get your result, it's like it's too late now. Like you caught COVID Thursday, you had a test on Monday. But now they tell you on Tuesday that you don't have it, but then you end up catching it just randomly because you went to the grocery store on Thursday. Like that doesn't make sense. It needs to be way quicker, like turnaround on testing.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm probably in the minority of this, but I totally agree with stay-at-home orders. I'm almost to the point where I'm saying, if you're on the street, go home. If you ain't got no mask, lock them up. Something like I know that's extreme, but because it takes 3 to 4 hours for the virus to leave out of the air, air alone. So, like what Johnny said when he was talking about the restaurants and people are going out. Typically, when you go to a restaurant, you're not sitting there for 30 minutes because it takes 20 for your food to come out. So typically, you're going to a restaurant, especially if you're sitting outside, maybe 2 hours max, right? You have exposed yourself to what everybody else is bringing in or what's already been there. So not only are we not fighting the problem, but we're adding to it. So every second that you sit in that atmosphere outside, not protected, you're exposing people and you're exposing yourself more. And like you said, Drew, the worst part is you gotta wait almost 2 weeks just to get an answer of whether you have it or not. And
You
so
weren't
now
prepared
you
for this, man.
wonder partially why people are enraged. It don't take just the George Floyd situation for people to be mad in this country. It's the whole part of I don't even have answers as to whether or not I've got this stupid disease. I don't even have answers. What I need masks, can't get it. I need Lysol, can't get it. I need gloves, can't get it. I'm waiting. Everybody's enraged. And you gotta stay in the house. My wife has cabin fever. My children, they got cabin fever. Me, I'm always cool. I got my PS4, Call of Duty 2K, I'm straight. But for them, it's like I gotta get out.
Yeah. Speaking of, you mentioned, I do want to get us moving on a little bit topic wise. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for a second. So for our podcast listeners, there's a lot going on in this week. This last 7 days since last Sunday to this Sunday, a lot has happened. So this is gonna be a long episode. But I am gonna post clips for y'all to watch to kind of get the energy of the episode, topics and all that stuff. But we gonna be here for a second. But you did mention Q about George Floyd. So. And I haven't heard anybody say this angle either. Flint, Michigan specifically, we was already dealing with a water crisis before like all this stuff happened. Like that's not even settled yet. Like, and so we hit a water crisis nationally, documented, nationally recognized. On top, now we got a pandemic on top of a water crisis, and then police brutality type stuff on top of all that. But in Minneapolis, just to kind of wrap some context on the story. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, George Floyd, of course, a lot of people have seen the video of the police officers pinning them down after having them detained for I watched a 10-minute video, and I kind of regret. I hate watching stuff like that because I just hate like the image of it because I can see it every time I think about it. Like I'm visualizing it. So and I've seen it. So, but he had his knee on his neck for like 6-7 minutes straight, even at 3 minutes probably after he was unconscious visibly. So Minnesota has been in flames, rioting, looting, protesting, you name it. And those protests and riots have kind of erupted and spread virally, ironically, virally throughout the United States. Even up to Flint, we were, on some protest type stuff, but thankfully Flint was a more positive term, and I feel like Flint would be. It's like we've been through enough. Like I said, we got a water crisis that's still not even settled. We dealing with a little bit more than anybody outside of this area. So we owe it to ourselves not to destroy our own environment. Like we still have to live here. But I want to talk about jump into George Floyd, everything George Floyd, that topic. I heard that they charging the cop with like 6 months or something like that. I don't know how accurate that is, but it would not be surprising, given America's history, that some cops get off on with a slap on the hand or slap on the wrist type of punishment after killing people. Look at Mike Brown. Look at Sandra Bland. I still think Sandra Bland was kind of iffy as far as like the coincidence, like her saying or them saying that she killed herself and stuff. Like so many times that we see that figures of authority don't get the same, that aren't held to the same standard as civilians when they're trained to be able to handle these types of situations when they escalate and how to de-escalate them. You would think that they would be trained on how to de-escalate whatever the situation is going on. This is a situation where this dude is black and he's unarmed. You have him already detained. He's in handcuffs on his stomach. Like he's vulnerable, like in every way, physically, whatever. You got his face on the ground, like it's rubbing against concrete. He's bleeding, and you got your hands in your pockets with your knee on the back of his neck. For what reason? What are y'all even what is happening right now? Like, why are we still sitting here? If you got the dude that you came to get, put him in the car and let's go. Take him to the station, book him, whatever. But do that. Don't sit on his neck for 10 minutes straight and act like nothing is happening. So I want to hear y'all take on George Floyd. Rest in peace, George Floyd. And we prayers up for his family and everybody affected by it. But what are y'all thoughts?
Fuck the police.
I mean, that's a lot of people's perspective right now. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I heard that song in Flint during the protest. So I mean, that's how
Yeah,
people
no,
feeling.
I've been like the biggest advocate for like fuck the police, just because like, and I mean, and I've been this way since I've been young. Like, just because I guess in my community and like in a lot of black communities, you see police officers that don't look like us, for one, that cannot relate to us. You know what I'm saying? That we don't know. So it's like, it's kind of unfamiliar in that sense. And then just the way that they um, like prejudge us. It's like all of us are either on some shady stuff. Even if you got a do rag on, you trying to get your waves tight or whatever, they see that and they see you as like, what I'm saying, some gangbanger or some type of threat. So it's like,
It's like our everything about our like existence, like every piece, like from the do rag to the hoodie, everything is an icon of like threat. Like, oh, you got to
especially this shit right here.
Yeah,
Especially
skin. The
this
one
right
thing that you can't change, your skin is the number one icon, like indicator to them. Like some of them. I mean, like I still feel like there's definitely some good cops. I know a friend of mine, like somewhat. He's a cop and he's a black dude like anybody else. But I mean, I said this on one of our previous episodes. Like, I feel like there should be a obligation on those good officers that do exist to speak up when stuff like this happens. Like, I mean, and they kind of have been. Like, this is the first time where I feel like the black officers have been kind of voicing, like they've been posting videos and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's what we need. We need some solidarity amongst like people that look like us, even if you got a police uniform on. Like, show us that you understand that this is not cool. Even if you are with blue or whatever, like understand that you take that blue off at the end of the day and you black. So I mean, like which one, you at the end of the day you can't change being black. You can get fired, you can quit the police force, but you're gonna be black no matter what. So I mean, what'd you say?
Go ahead, Drew.
I would say, I had my first interaction with the police when I was like 16 years old, still in high school. Like, I was a kid, wasn't doing nothing, hadn't drank nothing, hadn't smoked nothing, wasn't getting into nobody's trouble. And got pulled over, pulled out the car, hands and knees, car searched. That's my first interaction with the police. So ever since you have that initial negative interaction with that one police officer, of course, every other police officer you go look with some shade. Because honestly, I wasn't doing nothing wrong at the time. You just caught me riding down Second on Street and was like, hey, let's see what he got in his trunk. So,
right.
Like, there are a lot of, like you said, I know police officers. I've grown up with guys who, are police officers now. I have friends who, husbands are law enforcement, are in law enforcement. And that's not my journey. I can't say I don't judge you. Like, what's meant for you isn't meant for everybody else. I just couldn't imagine, knowing the history behind policing in our community. I couldn't personally work in that field. Like, for my entire career, I've been a hospitality manager. I've had the opportunity to, work in corrections. I couldn't do it. Decent pay, easy job, but just the fact that I would even be working in corrections in the slightest way, just hurt my stomach. And no shade for anybody who works in law enforcement or that's their calling. Big ups to you. That's wasn't on my spirit, but yeah, it's sad that what happened with Mr. Floyd. Like, I don't want to watch the video because that stuff follow you, but this is America, that stuff this is what we deal with. This is why people riot.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that so I've been like just like coming up with like different like topic kind of subtopics to talk about around the whole story, and just like America, like you said, America, the news and all that stuff. I feel like we've been like, it's weird that we've been desensitized to it too. Like, and that's the thing, I don't want to be desensitized to it. I want it to hit me and hurt me, like when I see it, because I shouldn't see it. So, and it now when it hit me, when I see it, it don't seem as unusual, and that's terrible. Like, that's terrible that I'm getting used to and acclimated to like watching somebody die. And in his case, in his video was kind of unique also, in the sense that like you saw like the transition, like you saw the difference in his movements and lack thereof. You saw him transition and become lifeless, and then they dragging him off, and his body is just like completely limp. And like the fact that the ambulance didn't take off, like for like, you know, I mean, I'm assuming that there was something going on inside. They maybe that they were doing some kind of you know what I'm saying, like health measures to try to like revive him, but it didn't seem like they had any kind of sense of urgency. They checked his pulse, which I'm assuming was not existent, and they drug him over like kind of, you know, haphazardly, and put him on a stretcher, put him in an ambulance, and sat there for a little while, and then took off, and said he later died at the hospital. Like, it's crazy that that's really what happened. Like, there's no, I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating. That's literally what's on the video. And that's another thing. Like, there's a famous Will Smith interview where he's saying, like, you know, police brutality is not at an all-time high. It's just being recorded now. Like, we just see it every time it happens, or more often.
Before I even get started, rest in peace, George Floyd. My Aubrey, Brianna as well.
Yeah.
I think from a national standpoint, every single person of color, a lot of people of whites or white people, some other minorities, I think we're just fed up at this point.
Yeah.
The rioting, people are saying that's out of control. Listen, from Minneapolis, I totally see why. I get why. If it wasn't no riot or looting, that officer probably would have never got prosecuted. He probably just got fired, and it would have been swept under the rug, and it would have been just fine, according to what they think. I think that it's time for like I don't want to say the rising of the ashes, but the Black Panther portion is kind of creeping back up at this point. And we're gonna see a whole new uprising of young Black males, young Black females, where they're not going to take none of this shit really pretty much longer. They're not going to take it no more. Every time something like this happens, it's going to be consequences and repercussions at some type of level, especially if they don't respond, where the authorities or justice does not respond in time. We're tired of just prosecutions. We want sentences. We don't want just people to get, oh, we're going to prosecute him with third degree, which is absurd by itself. It should be first.
Right.
We're going to put a $500,000 bail on him, and he can only get up to 6 months to a year. Excuse me, because if this was me, if this was Drew, if this was Q, if this was you, guess what? It would have been 25, 50, 75 years in prison with no bail, with no type of way to even see the light of day anymore. No visitors. It probably would have been solitary confinement. You would have got beat up by every single police officer every time you walk steps into the jail or prison, wherever you're at. Like, people want to talk about that. But at the same time, you got officers out here getting off clean with nothing. I bet you that guy right now, his house is, he's back at home. $500,000 ain't nothing to nobody like that, because somebody's going to pay it. Regardless, you want to be honest about it. Some organization, someone is going to pay that fine. And once they paid that fine, he went back home. He went back to his family, and everybody was good. I don't care what his wife say. His wife made a statement saying she can't deal with him no more because of that racist action, and she tried to leave, try to get a divorce. Let me tell you something. You ain't going nowhere, because you're a stay-at-home mom. You're not going nowhere. He makes the money for the entire house. You're not going nowhere.
Outside of him making all the money in the house, chances are he's shown you in the past this is who he is, or he has this tendency in him. So now
it wasn't the first time.
Not right. Now that the neighbors see it, now that your mama see it, now that your sister see it, now that your homie see it, now I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with this. But
Now you embarrassed.
last week when he was watching the basketball game and was dropping all type of niggas left and right. Come on now. That tickles me. That tickles me. I mean, hopefully, she finds her happiness. But that definitely tickles me.
Go ahead. Okay. So like, even what happened yesterday, like in Flint. So I'm gonna ask y'all this question. This is just an open question. So I'm pretty sure Drew, you've seen it because it's been all over the news everywhere at this point. What happened yesterday? We're getting two different opinions about what happened yesterday in Flint. So there's the first opinion where it's like this is what we needed, and this happened also in other cities across the country. Newark, New Jersey, where officers walked with the protesters and held signs with the protesters to protest the same message that they've been trying to get across, which is Black Lives Matter too. This should have never happened. George Floyd needs justice, right? So they're walking with the same people that like we were walking in Flint as well. Our own sheriff in Genesee County, um, Sheriff Swanson, walked with us from the station after having a big, huge conversation about how all those officers at that time, it may not have been the city of Flint, but all those other officers in the Flint Township, Clayton Township, Davidson, Genesee County Sheriff, they're not happy with what happened either. We also learned yesterday that the training in Michigan is different compared to other states. They don't train that way. Yeah. We still get some of the problems like Drew was saying. Like I was 16 when I got pulled over and snatched out the car with 5 of my friends because we was going to Roller Haven. Like I wasn't smoking, wasn't drinking, wasn't doing anything. But I skate, bro. Like I was just going to go skate, bro, and mess with the white chicks, bro. Like who cares, So it's like, and no offense to like white chicks or nothing like that. I want to get that out there too. But even in that, like that's one side of the story that people in Flint are getting. But then here's the other side. People are saying that was nothing but a market ploy or a electoral ploy for Chief Swanson or Sheriff Swanson because it's his electoral year this year. They're also saying that what is that gonna change? Y'all came out there, y'all did the bait and switch is what the lingo is recently. The bait and switch of y'all just backing the cops now. Y'all was out there for what? Y'all was out there just to be seen, just to be heard. And that was it. Like y'all didn't really change anything. But if you wasn't there and you don't know nobody that was there that can really tell you what happened, there's no reason for you to say stuff like that. So my question is to y'all, according to what y'all seen, according to what y'all heard from other people, just in the city of Flint by itself, before we get to the national portion, do y'all feel that change could have been made? Do y'all feel like something has shifted in the system a little bit to where the conversation has started? Or do y'all feel like it was a waste of time and we should have been looting or rioting, this, that, and the third, tearing up our city when it's already impoverished?
I don't think that. Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, what?
Go ahead.
Okay. Had that awkward ass.
That's that. Hey, the social distancing. That's all. That's. Go ahead though.
Yeah. But no, I feel, for one, I feel that looting is not the right way to protest anyway. I mean, even like in past times where I've seen people protest and they protest, the Black Lives Matter, they protest these things. And then you look at like, even though I do not like these people, and this is PC me saying this, I don't like these people and what they stand for, the Ku Klux Klan, but they do protest in the correct manner. And I mean, when you have your, your permit, you have, your rifles and things like that, it is harder to disperse you and disperse, your movement, because it's like, okay, these people got guns, and they went through the right measures to protest. So it's like, all right, well, when y'all done, just go ahead and leave. But I feel like looting does not hurt the companies or the big, organizations. I feel like it hurts us more so than anything, because when we loot, we don't loot somewhere, where it's well off. We loot in our own community, which I think is dumb. It's like we tearing our own shit up to prove a point to somebody who really don't really care as much. Like when it's somebody else's stuff, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? To them, but when it's their own shit, it's like, okay, well, damn, it's kind of affecting me, my pockets. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take time to rebuild all of this stuff like that. I feel like protesting has to be done in a better way. I mean, not even to say that it has to be passive. Like, it don't have to be passive. You know what I'm saying? Like, where we gotta lay down and protest, but I feel like it has to be done in a more organized fashion. You know what I'm saying? In a more assertive way, organized and assertive. Like, hey, we here, we not moving until we get our point across, and then once we get our point across, when we feel like that, we can leave. We can disperse. But
And then I do want to mention, I call him Donald Clump, but he also, you know, I'll say this every time we come up on this topic, but he is the worst type of president to have in a situation like we're going through in the U.S. right now. It's like the worst type of archetype of a person, like a personality, worst type. Like this is worst case scenario type of person. Like handling it like a kid, talking about when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, why would you even say something like that? Like, everything you say is under a microscope. You are the president of the United States, commander in chief. Your Twitter account, you should not be up at 3:00 in the morning, like all on this like stupid how did we get him here? Like, why is he president? Like, what's going, like, this is the president. This is our leader, our face to the rest of the world that's doing this stuff. We are a laughing stock. I feel like at one point we were like the mecca of the entire world. Everybody wanted to come for that American dream, but now, like, the narrative on America has changed so much in the last 3 months. It's one of those things where, like, you can build up a reputation, and that takes years. It takes years of success and innovation to be among the leaders of a world, and it could be shot down on having the terrible president, and that's exactly what we're going through right now. So, like, after this, ain't nobody gonna be trying to come to America. Like, it's not at all.
So I haven't. This is actually my first time actually speaking. I haven't did a podcast about it. I think the most I do is talk to my wife about it, because I've been trying to put into words, my thoughts. Of course, I'm ticked off, and rest in peace, George Floyd. But I'm angry. But the other day I looked up, and I guess I'm gonna answer Johnny's question too. The other day I looked up the word protest. And first of all, people don't understand rioting is different than protesting. Second of all, rioting is a crime. I know people don't like to hear that, but it's a fact. So why are you going on doing all? You can't go to jail for it. Point is, I looked up the word protest, and it means a statement or action expressing disapproval of or objection to something. Right. So if I don't agree with it, I'm standing against it. The biggest protest that we can make as a people, whether we want to believe it or not, is to vote. And the sad part is, when voting opened up this past term for a new mayor in the city of Flint, y'all spent more time, not y'all, but people spent more time lining up for a chicken sandwich than to go vote. Yeah. And you can't sit up here and go radio through a window like this is do the right thing or something like that. And you won't even get up to go stand in a line to go against. Everybody wasn't a fan of Mayor Neely. Everybody didn't want him in office. And so because you don't want him in office, instead of you going and protesting against somebody that's there, you decide to sit at home. So the issue is, for us, it's great that we march in these streets. It's great that we start from Miller Road and go on down, and I'm with that. And I wanted to be there, couldn't. All that stuff is great. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. But y'all need to take the same energy to the polls when it's time to open up. Because the sad part is, when it's time to vote 45 out, a bunch of y'all won't do it. Take all these images that you have in your mind, all these images of a man having his knee in the back of somebody's neck and head to the point that they can't breathe. Take the image of people burning down businesses, not just businesses, Black-owned businesses, not just Black-owned Asian businesses, Korean businesses, Hispanic businesses, minority businesses. Take all those images. Take the images of fire. Take the images of you wanting to go up. Put all that in your mind in November and stop being lazy media, making pictures and memes because it look good, and go protest. Go vote. But until we decide to do that, until we decide to get up and stop being lazy, we're gonna have the same situations going on. Yes, I was one of the people that thought that it's kind of a ploy for our policemen to be out there, because I believe that there are probably even some African American, some Black men who thought that what that cop did to Floyd was right. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's the truth. However, there are some people who are about the right. There are some people who say, look, this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Yeah, I totally agree. Get the police. But at the same time, if you're just gonna stand on your couch and play your video game instead of going out to vote, I don't really want to hear anything from you, to be honest. I just don't. I don't, you know.
Yeah, but also, it can also be argued that like they've also stifled our voting voice. We've had documented scandals with voting and the Florida recounts and all that kind of stuff. So they give you the illusion. Some could say that they give you the illusion of control just to keep you at bay, and then they just still make the same decision that they would have made had you not even put your input in the first place.
I agree with you that, Shield, but you got to show up. I agree with you that they've stifled our voice. I agree with you that, they erased voter rolls. I agree with you that your precinct's on the other side of town. We changed it. I agree with you that they do play games. But if enough people show up, and there's enough games being played, something's gonna change. So yes, I agree that they have voter suppression campaigns, 100%. But if enough people show up, it either change is going to come about, or we're going to realize that they ain't do a good enough job trying to suppress our vote, and we actually make something happen.
I agree with that, and that's why I asked that question, about what happened yesterday in our city, because it's crazy how like people that weren't there, they're making this crazy judgment of, oh, like y'all didn't get nothing accomplished. But if you was there, you would have seen people that were crying in front of the police's face. These are things that were not documented unless you was a photographer that was there. I have the pictures. I got some. You know what I'm saying? People that were crying in front of them, asking them, why do y'all continue to do this to us? And regardless of what people think, you're speaking to your local office or your local department. That's a fraternity. Police officers have a fraternity. They all speak to each other across the entire nation. My father is an officer, okay? Like, I know this because there's people that's from California that talk to him. Just because the fact that he's an officer. And he was like a chief for a moment in time in Mount Morris Township.
Right, it's like almost like a biker club or something.
Yeah, exactly. So people talk to each other all the time. So even though that you're doing something in your local situation, your local town, or if you're in New York or Flint or Chicago or Florida or Texas, wherever you are, you're doing something like that. But that message is getting spread across because all of them don't feel the like what happened to George Floyd was right. All of them don't feel that way. I know that for sure. There's a majority of them that feel like that should have never happened and that guy should be fired or prosecuted. But there is some percentages where it's the truth, where they think it's okay because there's an ulterior motive, right? But we can only do so much to control that. I just think that like Q was saying, when you protest, it's protesting not just in the streets, it's protesting on your government officials, on your judges, on your attorney generals. Like, think about it in the state of Michigan by itself. We have the most women in our branch of offices right now than we have ever had in the history of the entire state. We have a woman governor, we have a woman medical examiner, we have a woman attorney general, and we have a woman prosecutor that runs the entire state of Michigan. 2 of them are black, by the way. So that wasn't a Democratic or Republican vote because one of them people are actually Republican. But still, the fact of there's diversity in it, and you want to see change and stuff happening. Every Republican ain't bad. Every Democratic ain't good. Like, if I'm so with making a change by sparking your voice up with making a vote. The vote is what counts. And if people want to sit on their lazy butts at the couch when it comes down to when the time comes, then what was you out here for?
Right.
What was you out here for? Don't join me when I go down to the flat lot today at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, May 31st. Don't come join me when I want to get some answers from the chief. Don't come do that. I don't want it. Because all you're going to do is just complain again online, but then you don't want to vote because you mad because Bernie Sanders ain't get the nomination. Or you're mad because Donald Trump, he just a laughing stock and you think it's funny, so you want to see more jokes from him because you think it's funny. Living in the country like this right now with that type of person, it's not funny. There's nothing funny about that. Not even close.
Facts.
It's very, very dangerous. I walk outside every day. I'm already black, one. But think about it, I'm American now too. So this is the leader of the free world. This is supposed to be the guy that represents me. I can go to a different country, they can smack me across my face because I'm a representation of him. Not just because I'm black, just because of the fact that I'm from America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Q.
There was a movie that came out, and I was telling my wife this. There was a movie that came out a couple years ago with Forrest Whitaker and Keanu Reeves. The movie is called Street Kings. And what happens in that movie is Keanu Reeves is this cop, and Forrest Whitaker is like the captain, the commissioner, or whatever. And so Forrest Whitaker is actually having people on his staff do all this illegal stuff. They all getting drugs, they all stealing this money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Keanu Reeves is like, wait, something is not going on here. Something's not right. So he ends up fighting Forrest Whitaker. He ends up pretty much killing him and all that stuff like that because he found out the underhanded stuff. I bring all this stuff up to say this. When you go vote, you're not just voting for a mayor. You're voting for a councilman, a commissioner, all of those type of people. And there are people that are in police positions that think that way, that are illegal, that are crooked and all that. So your voting is not just for a mayor. Your voting is pretty much for a brand new police department. Your voting is for new superintendents for school. Your voting is for, you're getting upset because you don't like how the educational system is, that you keep sending your kids to a school that you have the ability to vote for example, a Grand Blanc, a Kearsley, or whatever, and you send them there, but you don't vote for a new superintendent. You don't vote for a new mayor to get the commissioner out of office because the commissioner got to respond to the mayor. And so until we change our level of thinking on how important it is, Trump should not, 45 should not be in this position because he has no experience. He's never been in politics. He's never been a congressman, a mayor, a governor, or nothing. He got in there off of sheer money, the dollar bill. And you got the power to get him out, but you're just like, I'm just going to break glass. I'm just going to set this on fire. Okay, once you get done doing that, then what?
Right.
Once everything is burned down, then what? I don't know.
Olympus has fallen. That's what's going to happen. Olympus has fallen.
Pretty much.
That's what it is.
I do want to, like I said, like we've been saying, Justice Floyd, hashtag Justice for Floyd, his family, prayers up for his family, and anybody connected to it, or anybody that's connected to anybody, which is about everybody that has been a victim of police brutality, abuse of power, people misusing authority, and all that kind of stuff. I do want to change gears now a little bit. But if you're listening, if you're watching, we want to say thank you for tuning in. It's not over yet, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. We do want to make each episode better. I think this is going to be one of our best episodes yet. If you want to support financially, you can support by going to Cash App, $, the Stimulus Podcast, all one word. Whatever you feel like you might want to give. But I do want to jump into, like we said, there's a lot of stuff going on in America just at this moment. 2020 started off with 2020 started off with a bang. We got a pandemic. Flint already had a water crisis, police brutality, riots, and looting across the entire United States. And then also speaking of George Floyd, though, before we move on topics, speaking of George Floyd, there was a story in New York out of I think it was like Central Park. Amy Cooper, they calling her, Karen. Karen, basically,
that, yeah.
she saw a black man saw her with her dog off of a leash in an area where you're supposed to have dogs on a leash, and she went viral. I'm gonna play the video, a little bit of it. Let me see. Her name was Amy Cooper. She called the police. As it says, the falsely report Christian Cooper, no relation, was threatening her life. Christian Cooper was the black man. She has this dog, and he's just basically telling her.
There is an African American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
Now, as you can see in the video, I'm going to just pause it right there. In the video, when she said that, she's a good 10, 14, 15 feet away from him. But she's claiming that he's threatening her life. That situation, that situation obviously easily could have been turned into a George Floyd. That's what she was using to her advantage. She was leveraging the white privilege, the white the Me Too movement, all that, leveraging all that stuff, crying wolf, intentionally on camera. I don't even understand how she didn't realize he was recording her to even say it on camera. But luckily she's stupid enough to do it, because this has been happening. It hasn't been caught on camera like this before, or not like, a lot. And she basically came out with an apology, saying that what I did was wrong. I think she got fired and all that kind of stuff. Stupid. It was stupid of her to even do it, but I'm glad that it was caught on camera. But that could have easily been a George Floyd type of situation. So, like I said, it's hard enough with everything we got going on, and you add being black, having black skin to the list of obstacles that people have to deal with in a time like this. It's a lot to be alive and black in America right now. Any white person, I don't care. Like, we got white listeners, and I got white friends that I've shared this podcast with, and a part of me has kind of felt uncomfortable, because nigga is about my favorite word to use in a lot of these situations. I'm not even gonna lie to you at all. Like, and I don't use it around white people because it's something I feel like it's been turned into a colloquialism between black people, like a thing that was used against us. Now we flipped it, but it's like I don't but. Part of me has felt uncomfortable sharing it with them, but then part of me, y'all got to be on this conversation too, because silence in this kind of situation, in this silence in this context is kind of like you got your back turned, or you turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to what we got going on, our struggle and our plight as black people. We don't look like you. Therefore, we have a different experience. We have a different experience outside of how we look. Even person to person, black person to black person, is different experiences. We talking about different experiences right now between us. So understand that it's a completely different version of the game that we playing than what y'all got. Y'all got the answers to the back of the book, and we got you know what I'm saying, like the hand me down ripped out pages, no answers in the back of the book, no glossary, no index. It's just the bare bones, barely even that type of experience in this game. Y'all got a whole different setup, and every person does, but the white race at large and in majority has it more than anybody. They raped and pillaged America from the Native Americans. We celebrate Thanksgiving, but that really was just like a big loot. It was looting. There was looting America. They came over here to say they discovered America. People were already here, aka indigenous people. They called them Indians because they thought it was India. We talked about that on the podcast before. They thought they have landed on India, called them Indians, like inaccurately. People call them Indians to this day when they really are Native Americans or indigenous people. And we still celebrate Thanksgiving to this day as if any of that was something for the Native American people to be thankful for. It's a slap in the face. We still got NFL teams called the Washington Redskins. Like, America is not as far along as we can seem or act like. And I think black people, we have influence. Our culture gets ripped and bit every single day at every moment. But the thing is, we have influence in areas and sectors where change is not the easiest to affect. It is and it ain't. So we got entertainment influence, like I was saying before. I feel like black people have more entertainment influence than business influence or economic influence, or at least we have economic influence, but I think we don't realize it. I quoted before, Harriet Tubman said like, I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if they only knew that they were slaves. If we only knew what we didn't, take advantage of all this leverage that we might have as a people, we would be super powerful. And I'm going off on a tangent now, but I want to just digress a little bit. Remember that movie Ants? Just like to jog everybody's memory because we're about to go back in time in a minute back to some retro tech. But remember that it was a movie called Ants. It's like ANTZ. It came out like 1998. The ants, it was ants and basically ants and grasshoppers in that movie. And it took me until like being a little older to understand what like basically what I'm assuming the writers were getting at with that movie. Because like they have conversations. This is the movie I'm talking about, Ants. These ants. In that movie, the grasshoppers are like the big threat, and they're like they run them. They got the ants giving them grain and stuff. They got to give them a certain amount of grain every certain time. It's like taxes and stuff. And then they having conversations. You realize like they saying like we can't let the ants understand and realize that they outnumber us like 10-1. We just got to keep our foot on their neck hard enough to where they don't look around and see that they have the majority over us. We're the minority, but in your mind, as long as I am a threat to you and a viable threat, you won't act out. But you outnumber me. You could easily take me out if you decided to. But we can't let them get that kind of mindset. That's just slavery. That's that same. And this is a kids movie, and that concept is in there. It's the exact same thing going on right now. Like if they can keep us from realizing that if we kind of mobilize that we have a ton of power, if they can keep our minds off of that, then they can keep on ruling with even in ruling while having the majority or having the minority. We got a way bigger army than them. But our mindset is not united. We don't have that like hive mind, mobilized cause type of thing going on. They got the fraternity of blue, police officers. They got the, like I said, like it's like a bicycle club. We got different branches, but we all connected. It's all this programming. I think all this is programming, like visually, like stimulus. Like we being programmed by seeing all these Black Lives Matter killings and murders, and it's normalized, and we're desensitized, and now it's normal. At one point, slavery was normal. That was the normal routine every single day. That's what it was. That was legal. That was here, and it wasn't that long ago. Then civil rights came way later. So it's not beyond us. But I've been going on a tangent, like I said. Rest in peace, George Floyd.
A beautiful tangent, and it was very, very well said, sir. So you good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Can
I add something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Ron. You're a real friend, bro. No, I want you to like. I want you to really think about what you said because it's so factual, especially with that movies. Our people, we don't understand the intelligence that lies within us. If you think about how many Black athletes go to D1 schools that are ran by white people with all the money, yet our HBCU schools have to close up because we don't have money, because we don't send our kids there to fund it. Think about that. If we as African Americans stop making music, Tidal would probably keep going because it's Jay-Z, but Spotify, Apple Music would be shut down for a long time. Right. We make up so much money. So like I was telling my kids, they want to play basketball, and my sons, they love Clemson and they love Ohio State, right? Whatever, that's on them.
Yeah. Okay.
I really want to encourage them to go to an HBCU because you can get a great education there, but also we need something for us because all of these people are doing it in the NBA and the NFL and the MLB and the NHL and tennis and golf at D1 schools, at Fortune 500 companies. They're making money off of us.
Right.
We're not making money off of them. So like we got so much intelligence in us, but we smoke it all away, and that's why y'all mad because Bernie Sanders ain't running no more. It's because it was an opportunity for you to get it. Okay, I'm sorry, Duran.
You good? I mean, hey, that's what we on. But
I just got to jump in and piggyback what he just said about piggyback on what he was just talking about. And I literally just lost my train of thought. Never mind.
It be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes.
Just lost my train of thought.
It'd be like that. But like I said, rest in peace, George Floyd. Unfortunate that we have to even be having this conversation. But rest in peace to anybody affected, which is everybody. Like I said, condolences for everybody, I should say. And but like I said, it's a crazy time to be alive. Speaking of, we're gonna segue. We're gonna change gears. We're gonna loosen up a little bit more. And it's a crazy time to be alive. And we're gonna go to a different time where things were a little simpler. Probably a little bit less tense for Black people, and just speaking to the craziness that is right now, it probably was less. But we're gonna talk about some retro tech, some technology of the circa 1990 or before, basically early 2000s or before. So we're talking about when things were more about hardware design than they were about software design. Things looked different. Phones flipped, like this one I have right here. They flipped and they closed. You could hang up with somebody and it actually had it was satisfying. You know what I'm saying? This is a working phone. As you can see, this display is on. It really does work. And I charged this phone up like a week ago and I haven't touched it, and it's full still right now. Like batteries lasted. Batteries really was lasting forever, bro. Like it hasn't gone down. It's full bars battery. Like it's completely charged, and it's been like a week. Like
that's impressive, bro. That's so good, man. Oh my god.
Like the fact that we've gotten away from that, like that was something we didn't need to get rid of. Music was different as far as consumption. You had to have music. You had to have the file. It wasn't streaming. It wasn't internet connected. Eventually, before the iPhone, there was the iPod. So I mean, iPods. You got the jog wheel. You know what I'm saying? You scroll with that, and you gotta actually have wired headphones. This has no Bluetooth or internet capabilities. You had the 10-pin connector on the bottom of the iPod, and this is an iPod, but I had an MP3 player. It was off-brand. It was not Apple. It was some generic. I don't even know what it was called. The stuff had buttons. Like even phones had buttons. Like you actually you could press it in. I could type easily without even looking because I can feel it. So I want to
T9 it. That was the other way.
Right, T9. All that was innovative. That was a game changer.
I mean, to keep it on that music track, just to take it back a little even further than that. Like I remember like vividly the sound of a CD turning in a CD player inside your hoodie. Like, you know what I'm saying? While you sitting on the bus or like while you in the back of the car, the sound of a CD player start to spin in your lap. Like
that's
people don't know. They don't
that's
know
tactile. Like that's tactile feedback. You feel it. That's like it's like the music is almost like physical.
I'll take it back even further. Set players. When the tape come out, you got to put a pin inside it to wind it up.
Yeah, it was just like the simple little like limitations, but it was kind of cool. Like it was still analog, a lot of stuff. Like it wasn't so digital. Speaking of cassettes, though, you got the VCR. The VCR,
it was the original Devo. Yeah.
Boom! Like you put that boy in, record your cartoons. I used to record what was the cartoons of that day? Like what? Scooby Doo,
Doug,
Doug, Cat Dog.
That's right.
Right. And when you would watch those things, when you would watch all those like in 90s, like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network 90s version, like that was that's the GOAT. I don't care what nobody say. Now
I agree.
Only thing
is the GOAT.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think current day that's the GOAT. 90s. And when you would watch all these crazy shows, you would watch them on something like this. You would watch it on the big booty TV. The big extendo booty on the back, with the little video, audio, red, yellow, and white. You know what I'm saying? Red, yellow, and white jacks and stuff. Like it was.
Oh my God, I remember those days with Super Nintendo like that. Like you had to first of all, it was two different type of jacks. You had the cable AV boy, you know what I'm saying?
Channel 2, channel 3.
Channel 2, yes, exactly. Or you had the AV cord with the red, white, and yellow. You go to a granny house, you got to use the cable one. You go back home, you can use the AV cord.
You go to granny house and granny only got yellow and red, yellow and white. And you like, which one do I use? Man.
No audio whatsoever. That's all you got.
Right.
You better deal with what you get.
Graphics was trash can juice, but we loved them because it was like that's what we had. That was the cutting edge of the moment. So like you got Super Mario 64, and his fist is like shaped like a trapezoid because the graphics is the graphics is just so like low bit, like 64 bit, but still. But it was like a dope. The gameplay was way better. It wasn't so much emphasis on like polish and the ooh and ah and the bells and whistles. It was like gameplay had to be good.
So I got a question, and me and my friends, we talk about this all the time. I wonder if y'all are on the same page. What is the greatest 64 game ever to be made?
Oh, for me,
007, maybe 007.
There you go. Yeah, hell yeah. There you go.
GoldenEye, yeah.
It was that Mario Kart was dope too. And then I used to play WWF
Smash Brothers.
No Mercy. Yeah.
Ooh, Smash Brothers. That's for me personally. For me personally, Smash Brothers, I would say.
But GoldenEye.
What you say? What you say, Ventro?
No, I was somebody beat me to it. I was gonna say Smash Bros. Smash Bros on 64, GameCube, all that shit was like legendary to me. It was like what better way to get your friends together and just talk shit and beat each other's ass all day. You know what I'm saying? And you can play with Mario, Luigi, the whole thing. It's like everybody, like, you know, it's just a bro.
Arguments was settled on Smash Brothers in my life. Arguments, full blown.
They were.
Who gonna talk to this girl down the street? Nah, bro, I'm doing it. No, you not. Okay, play me in Smash Bros. 1-on-1. The first one, 100% and knock you off the board is it. Like, it was plenty of arguments, plenty of disputes settled on Smash Bros. 100%.
And then let's just talk about like what our favorite old school like technology thing, no matter when it was from or what era. Like, what's our whether it's video games or whatever. Like, what's your favorite retro tech thing?
For me, my favorite retro tech thing. Y'all might laugh at me for this, but when I got my first sidekick, the T-Mobile sidekick.
Yeah.
I think that right there changed the game for me. To be able to flip a screen, like, and you had custom themes you can put on your interface. You can change what you wanted. The text messaging was dope, especially if you had a Sidekick LX because they had the little lights on the side.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, as far as back then, like nowadays, okay, I'm gonna take my phone out the little case and I take the screen off. Your phone look like this. This is what your phone looks like. I don't care what you do, who you with, what's the manufacturer. It looks like this when you hold it up and the screen is off. It's basically a black rectangle. If I put it on the table and next to a whole bunch of other ones, nobody would know whose phone is what until you unlocked it or turn the screen on. Back then, you would sit it down. You would see one of these. You would see a Nextel. You would see a Sidekick. You would see a BlackBerry. You would see a Razor. Like, it was like everybody. It was way more individualization or individual likeness to like your technology. Your stuff looked different because it was yours.
And because it was like back then, all you really could do was send a text message, play a game of Snake, and make a phone call. So you had to, the way you stood out, way you stood out was by how you designed your product. Now it's all about, I don't care. Like you said, all I need is a black rectangle. What does the black rectangle do though? You know what I mean? So
I agree with that.
I think the big thing about that is money used for ringtones. Ringtones was so important because it just defined who that person was, and you only could get a certain amount or whatever. But ringtones is important.
You ever have to make sure your phone was on silent when you walked into somebody's house because you knew your ringtone was gonna get you?
Was not appropriate. Yeah. Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Right. Or you only can text through the day because your free minutes couldn't start till 6 p.m.
Right.
Or 9 or 8, depending on where you're from. Yeah. So, yes,
and that's why I was gonna ask Duran if that flip you got, if it's minutes on there right now.
The crazy thing is, I obviously I have an iPhone, and I was trying to activate. I wanted to so to speak, downgrade to this flip phone. Cause I'm like I got Wi-Fi at home, I got an iPad and stuff. I don't need my phone to be a whole computer. I'd rather have my phone last, battery lasts for infinity, and I can send text messages. I would take one with like a full-fledged keyboard. I had a couple phones that had like full-fledged keyboards, but I'd rather take the old school model, and just give me today's speeds and stuff like that, and give me that old school hardware. Give me that. It feels good. This phone feels good in my hands when I'm holding it. Like
that's bro. It feels so good, bro.
Right.
I held my sidekick last week. Like I went to my parents' house. I just held it. I said this. I charged it up. I said this is what life was like years ago, and I missed this so much. To be able to like you said, hanging up on somebody on a flip phone is so freaking.
That is fire.
It's like,
oh my god.
It's like, look, bro. I'm not going back and forth with you, bro. Look, bye. Like it was like that. Wow, this clap. It was like a clap. Wow. You heard? I want all that sound to go through the phone. Wow.
Right. Want you to feel it.
Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh.
And then on the other side, it's kind of cool. Like you pull out, it's ringing. You got the little display on the outside. It's ringing. Oh, okay. You flip it open. It's like, it's kind of cool. Like to be able to like this, like to flip that boy open. Like talk to me.
You know what was dope?
You said you flipped it though.
When we was in school.
Right.
Yeah. What was dope was when we was in school, a lot of people had Nokias. And they didn't have a flip on it. It was just that long one or whatever. But when I got my flip phone, I felt like I was better than everybody because everybody didn't have it. Like,
and then don't even mention next though when they put that, it was a silver one. It had a button. It had a button for it. The button for the release, and it come open. That boy like
player on the front
too. Oh my god.
They was changing the game right there. I'm like, okay.
The antenna.
Like I see what we doing. I see what we doing out here.
And when Nextel your phone out of nowhere, you like.
One time in high school. One time in high school, I got my phone taken because I was trying. I wasn't sure if my phone was on vibrate or not, and I went to hit the volume thing to turn it down, and like it would play the sound like as you would turn it down, which is stupid.
Oh yeah.
But like, and then I got it took because I was trying to turn it down. I wasn't even using it. And this has got, now limitations of technology were a real thing, because I look at the back of the back of the phone, and you can't see it on the screen, but it says it has a 3 megapixel back camera. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So I see, okay, yeah, you can give me the modern day camera, but just give me the old school phone. Yeah,
camera.
People used to look like pixelated figures, bro.
Potatoes. That was shoot with potatoes.
Like what we doing, the video version of what we doing right here, right now. Like this would be like witchcraft. This would be like witchcraft.
Man.
I be thinking. Now this is okay. So I think crazy. So like the way I think, I be thinking of like my mind just go off the wall. So I think about stuff like this. I think about like, what if I took this iPhone, just the iPhone, no case or nothing. I just took it and I went back in time like 300 years, and let's just put all the racism and stuff aside as far as.
I'm sorry. Okay, they hang you. What? Okay.
Yeah, put all that aside, because I know that would realistically that would happen. But say I was one of them to them, and I say like I'm a time traveler or whatever. Like, if they don't kill me right away, I'm like, this is what I have as an offering, and they like, what is he? Is that light in your hand? What is that? Like, it's like you got fire in his hand. Like this, like what is?
You can capture lightning.
Yeah.
On the screen.
So like I think they like I would be interested to see like what kind of descriptions they would have, because like they would have so much limited to like vocabulary to describe what they're seeing.
That might freak somebody out though. That's like some you'll be an alien for sure, bro, if you went back in time.
Yeah, and I'm just me, like I'm just me, but I just have an iPhone. But I want everybody that's watching this on YouTube, comment and tell us what's your favorite retro tech. Like what is it? Is it Tamagotchis? Is it Beyblades? Is it like
what was the pets called? The
Gigapets?
Gigapet. Yeah.
I was trying to think of that earlier this week, and you came to me as soon as you asked.
Oh my god,
Hey,
bro!
That's what I had.
One of my
hold on.
Hey,
Gigabit Tamagotchi.
That's
what
what
was the
that.
other one? It
Game Boy
was
I
like
think was mine. Game Boy Color, I think
the
that was my
Digimon
favorite
Vices. That was like the
version.
fake Tamagotchis.
It was
Yeah, I
like
think I might have had one of those too. I might have had one of those.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the fun was way different. Like the criteria for fun was like it was way easy. You had to have like imagination and stuff like that. Like I had a gigapet. I couldn't remember what it was called, but I had a gigapet.
Gigapet. Yeah.
Like I had one of these boys.
Purple, yeah.
Bro, you can still buy those for $5.19. What?
$5.19.
Yeah, scroll up.
Oh, let me go back.
Are they still selling boys?
Yo, you can still scroll up.
Oh, right here.
$5.19. No way.
Yeah, it's like a little keychain version.
Oh my god, bro! You see some of them going for like $100, man. Imagine if we had one of those like right now.
If you got the OG like generation of it, like the OG version, you can probably get some money.
That's crazy, bro.
But everybody that's watching, like I said, all your listeners is different. But everybody that's watching, comment. What's your favorite retro tech? What's your favorite thing from your childhood, technology wise, or like story or whatever you want to comment. But we have what's that? So we got really one more segment. We actually doing good on time. It's 2 hours, but we got a beginning where it was recording, but it's not going to be an episode. So we probably really around like hour and 40 right now. But last thing we want to do, we like to end on a good note, on a light note. We talked about George Floyd, we talked about coronavirus and everything, but we want to end on a good note. So we're gonna end on some like kind of like this conversational type game. It's not gonna be like a incoherent, but conversational. Like I said, if I could find my iPad, once another thing that wouldn't exist. I got a list in front of me of would you rather questions. Would you rather is basically a game where, let me take the banners off. Let me see. Would you rather is basically a game where it's ultimatum. You have to pick this or that. And you can just fill in the blank with the this or that. So in this case, I had one that I like. And we just gonna start with this one. Maybe let's do like two. Let's start with two. And if we do more, then we can. Two. The first one. Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green, or never have to stand in line again?
Never have to stand in line again.
What was that one more time?
Yeah, I like that one too.
Would you rather have every? Let me see. Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green, or never have to stand in line again, like physically stand in any kind of line?
Never have to stand in line again.
Never stand in line again.
Never.
Now, give us an answer and why.
Green. When am I gonna be able to look down at my phone? So, like, I never want to stand in line again.
Yeah, I don't want to stand in line no more. Cause like the shoe
wouldn't wanna
portion.
Oh my god, yes.
The shoe portion. That's why I don't want to stand in line no more. I'm good. Get my shoes so I can go.
And it would be all lines, like shoe lines. It would be food lines. Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah,
I need it.
What was the first thing that popped in my head? I'm like, oh what?
He said grocery store line, Sam's line, all of that.
Cedar Point.
Yes, bro. Yes,
The amusement parks.
Cedar Point definitely would be a game changer. No line at Cedar Point to go ride the Millennium Force. That's a game changer. And this is all the fast pass too.
All right, so let's do it. Let's do a vote or like a toll or whatever poll. So me, I would probably every light green or no lines. You know what? I'm gonna go against the grain and I'm gonna say every light green because online, the online marketplace is just growing more and more. Like I can do the drivers, the DMV online. I can do all that kind of stuff. That's not technically a line, so I'll get on that and I'll just take every green light. I'll go from Flint to Ohio and you got highway, so I guess that don't make a difference.
You'll save a total of 30 minutes on your trip.
Right, basically, I'm gonna go from Flint to Ohio on the road, and it's gonna take me a half hour. It's gonna take me as long as it takes to get to Saginaw from Flint. I'm gonna go that way. So I'm voting for the green light. What y'all? Let's go in order. So me, now Drew, and then Johnny, then Vision, and then Q.
I don't want to stand in line. I like my red lights just fine.
Yeah, I'm a not stand in line. I like going to the grocery store with no line. I like getting shoes with no line. Yeah, I'm giving it a good no line for sure.
Okay,
It's
I
on
would
you,
say
Vic.
for me, it would have to be the lines. I don't want to stand in line. I don't want to wait in no amusement park. Sit and talk to people that I don't want to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Spark, because a lot of times people tend to spark conversations with you when you in line. It'd be like, I'm already frustrated. I'm standing in this line. I don't want to talk to you just about nothing.
Hey,
So
low
let me
key,
get what I came to get. Get
low
out.
key, I didn't even think about the fact like current day, like not having to stand in the line is kind of nice, like social
Yeah,
distance
yeah.
wise.
Give me that
Um,
express. I'll wait in the car.
and then okay, and then Q, what's your vote?
Oh, I'm not standing in line for nothing. I'm impatient.
All right, so that's what four lines, and I was the only one with the traffic light. So, next, would you rather question? So, in a world where you are basically Doctor Doolittle and you can talk to animals, in a world where animals you can communicate, you know, as clear as I can communicate to you right now, would you rather be able to talk to animals like to land animals that fly or animals that live under the sea? So land, fly, or sea. Which animal, like if you only could talk to a certain genre of animals, which one would you like to which one do you think would be the most interesting, have the most interesting things to say?
I mean, if we're picking
That's a good one.
genres of animal, I think a jazzy fox would be. We'll think about genres of animal.
You said a jazzy fox.
You say genre of animal, like a jazzy fox would be clutch. But
Like a Sly Cooper.
right, I think I'll talk to fish
Fish underwater.
because there's more. They know more. They know more about what we don't know. Like nobody know what's under the water. Nobody know what it's really like 5 miles at the bottom of the ocean. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll talk to the fish. I'll talk to fish.
What about everybody else?
For me, I'm probably with Drew. I'll probably talk to fish. I was debating between fish and land because depending on like what animal it is with land, like you may learn some information that like they like, okay, the world about to end in like 5 days and we already know it, so we just moving this way. Like,
Right.
but at the same time, though, like if you think about something underneath the water, like the water kind of dictates a lot of different situations depending on what body of water it is, whether it's Atlantic, Pacific, salt, fresh. They kind of know what's going on. So, and nobody's ever went down that far. So I want to know what they doing too, though. So yeah,
And
I would say C.
and practically, like, can you like in this would you rather hypothetical situation? It's not saying that you can hear through water necessarily. So I'm assuming that you still have like the words have to travel through air. So they probably have to be at the surface before you even talk to them.
That's another good point. With something that deep would ever come up this high? Probably never, because they won't survive. They need darkness as much as possible.
Because like there's probably way more like uncharted territory under the sea. You like find out all kind of crazy stuff.
Well, I'm gonna just play. We're just gonna play telephone. I'm gonna fish at the top. Like, hey, can you tell whoever get the message to the homie at the bottom? Let him know.
Can you tell Poseidon? Tell Poseidon I need I want 3 tacos.
Yeah, just let them know. Yeah. Okay, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday work. Cool. No rush. That's what I need to talk.
Right. What? So yeah. So a land animal, sea animal, or air animal. So birds, basically. Land animals or fish.
Have you ever looked a bird in the eye? Birds are the devil. I'm sorry to have to go here.
They're definitely not as.
Have you ever looked a bird in the eye? Like while a bird is like picking at something, you can see them things thinking. Birds are evil, bro. You pick a bird, you just damn your soul. Okay, birds are evil. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My popular opinion: birds are the devil. Birds are not to be trusted. Okay.
I think me personally, I think I would want to go with a sea animal just because, like I said, there's so much I can't even see because I'm on land that you can see and that you can go down, and see. So you would have way more like secrets to give me. I feel like you would be able to tell me like, oh yeah, it's like it was an old like chest or an old ship that nobody even touched. Like over here, I'd be going over there all the time. It's a bunch of food like money in there. I can't use it. I'm a fish. But if you want it, you can go down there. It's gold. It's like shiny and stuff. I don't know that is that good. I don't know. And it's like like I would be like, okay, yeah, let me know where the hot spots at.
Good point.
That would be my logic too. I would definitely pick sea animals, just because like there is so much that we don't know about the ocean. Like you said, I could come up off some licks, off some treasure chests and shit like that. I definitely will make friends with dolphins and whales. You know what I'm saying? We be rolling in the sea, big body, like you know what I'm saying. But definitely, I would have to talk to the aquatic animals. Got to.
Okay, and then so let's take a vote on that one, and I got one more for us to end the episode. But vote on like not necessarily vote because it's 3 options. So land, sea, or air. Land, sea, or air. Would you rather speak to the animals of the land, sea, or the air? Me, I would vote like I said for the fish. So I'm a fish vote. I'm an underwater vote. What about you, Drew? You said fish, right?
Underwater all day.
What about Johnny?
Underwater. No, underwater for sure. 100%.
Vision. What was your vote?
Sea.
And what about you, Q?
Land.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because look, man, we got 2 fish at the house right now. Their life is just spent in a bowl swimming around. What land? I could talk to a tiger, ask them why he mauled that man, a bear.
Yeah.
What was you thinking about while they were shooting at you? All that.
That's true. It's very true.
Right.
I like that. I like the reasoning.
Find out why the chicken crossed the road. Like, hey, bro, like we've been wanting to know.
It's more than just to get to the other side.
Like you had to explain it to him. You had to explain. Like in America, there's this running phrase that with the words that we say. Like we say, like why did the chicken cross the road? And it's like a little thing that we use. But like why? So y'all cross the road. Why do y'all do it? Like you could interview a chicken.
Like, this is why. This is one.
Can you speak to the fact that the chicken crossed the road? But I got one more. Would you rather? I said. Everybody said underwater, but Q. And I like I said, it's a hard one because it's all interesting. I feel like it all would be, but I got one more. Would you rather question, and we're gonna wrap up the episode. Once again, if you are tuning in though to the Stimulus Podcast, thank you for tuning in. This is the 5th episode. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, subscribe, rate us or whatever. And if you're listening on Spotify or any of the audio platforms, subscribe as well. Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, all the Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Podcasts, all the pretty much the main players where you get podcasts audio wise. And Cash App, like I said, is $ the Stimulus Podcast if you do want to support financially. But one more would you rather question before we get up out of here. Would you rather have an easy job working for someone else or work for yourself but work incredibly hard?
I probably would. It's just on anybody.
Yeah, I think Q was saying something. I couldn't hear. What'd you say?
Oh, I said I can answer that right now.
Go ahead.
I would work for myself.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with working hard.
Let's do it backwards. So let's get everybody's stance, like which one you stand on, and then after that we can like explain why. So you said you would rather work for yourself and work hard, incredibly hard. And who want to go next?
Depends on how old I am.
How old you are?
Depends on how old I am. Depends on my lifestyle. Depends on where I'm at in life.
True.
If I've supported my family, I've done everything I want to do, and I'm just working to stay busy or have a little extra money to play the lottery or whatever I do as an old man. Why not have an easy job working for somebody else?
This is true, but in this situation, you have to pick one or the other. So you are.
Well, I would rather. Well, yes. Right now, I would rather work for myself than work for someone else. Have someone else profit off of my labor.
Oh, you work for somebody. Okay.
I would rather work for myself than work for someone else.
Johnny, what's your pick?
I'd rather work for myself other than somebody else at this current point in time in life. Yeah, for sure.
And Vision, what's your take?
Well, my decision was going to be work for somebody, like work an easy job for somebody. Because then my mind is thinking, if I have an easy job and I'm working for somebody, I'm accumulating money, and seeing as the job is not hard, then I could like do my own little side stuff to get my business started with the money that I'm working at this easy ass job. So that's the way I'm thinking. But if we had to do one or the other, like if I could only work an easy job and couldn't work for myself, then of course I would work for myself to get myself ahead. But if I could do it like that, I would work an easy job and then just dedicate that time. You know what I'm saying? Because my spare time, which is probably be a lot because job's so easy. So
And then those are the parameters of it. So like if you working for yourself, you can't also have a side job. Like that's the only thing that you're doing. And if you're working for somebody else, you can't have a startup business on the side as well. Like you only are working for them, and it's easy, or you're working for yourself and it's incredibly hard, and you can't get a different job or like a side supplemental easier job. I say, did I say mine?
I don't think so.
No, that's it. Nope.
I think I would work for myself. I think that I would see the value in like the satisfaction you would get from working hard and then still, prevailing and persevering or whatever. I think I would be way better for having worked hard than I would had I had like an easy road, but it's under somebody else's umbrella. I'd rather, open my own umbrella. And I kind of explained my reasoning, but like, let's talk about why we picked the ones we picked. Like,
Well, like I said, if I was, later in life, I'm starting to think about, 10, 15 years down the line. So one day I'm gonna be an old man. Hopefully one day I'm able to be my grandfather's age, So like someday I'm gonna be old man. What do I want to do? How do I want to spend that time?
right.
You know, if I could have an easy job where I work 3 days a week up at the local corner store, bagging groceries or whatever, cool. That would be great. Hearing what they're like, hearing Darnell's perspective about working an easy job and then doing something else for myself on the side, that makes sense. But um, I've come to the realization just recently in these past few months that it is more important for me to work for myself. Because I put a lot into what I do for a living. I put a lot into my work. I put a lot into my team, and it's not always appreciated. It's not always seen. Even though you don't do things for the accolades, you don't do things for the praise. It is just nice for to know that it's worth something. So yes, I'd rather work 6 days a week and a little bit on Sunday night for myself than work for someone else.
And what about let's just keep going in order just to make it easy. What about you, Johnny? Like why do you pick what you pick?
For me, working for myself, when you think about it, it's like you get to dictate your own hours, you get to dictate your own pace, stuff like that. I wouldn't mind having people working for me underneath to get some things done. That's also another thing too. But at the same time, just be able to dictate my own pace, be able to have time with my family to dictate the time, because time to me is so important. I'm a father of two beautiful girls, so I'd rather get time with them and also still have work balance. Um, so yeah, I would definitely work for myself only because just having that time, the time discrepancy, regardless of what's going on.
And Vision, like Ventrell, what do you think? Why do you say what you say?
So much nasty step on my side, but I would say though the reason why I picked, which was work for myself, is because just to pick back off of
Social distancing. Social distancing is what we're witnessing it at hand at this very moment. The effects. He said, The reason I work for myself, it was like speeding up. Yo, it was like, okay, you might be good now. I see you kind of reacting, so come out and come back in. Come back, come out and come back in. But yeah, that's the effects of coronavirus, stay at home order, all that stuff, quarantine. That's what we are subject to at the very moment. You know what I'm saying? There's not much we can do about what's happening right now. I'm sure he was trying to eloquently state his stance on why he would work for himself or choose to work for someone else. I'm sure. Let's see. I'm gonna see if we can get him back in, and then have him do his, and then we can wrap up the episode. But I before we even end, I appreciate y'all for being on here. This is exactly what I wanted it to be like. The dynamic, I feel like the different perspectives and all that stuff work. I think it's perfect. Thank y'all, like I said, for coming. Y'all was on time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a whole. I will always thank black people for being on time, just because like it's just ingrained. It's just ingrained in us not to be. Like I've seen situations where like people didn't have to not be on time, and they just like, you know what? I'm just be late. I'm just be a little bit late. It's like, why though? Like you outside in the parking lot. No, I'm gonna go in a little later though. Like, why you here? So I appreciate y'all for being on time. It helps, everything be smooth. I think okay, you back now. Okay.
Oh.
And what were you saying?
Before the damn static interrupt me, I was saying that I feel like I don't know if this shit is doing that again, but whatever.
You good right now? You good?
Okay, I would say we're just gonna get through it. But I was saying to piggyback off what was said, that we do put a lot of work in working for somebody else. That's just general. Like a lot of, and I've in the past recent years, I've worked with a lot of retirees, and these people are like tore up from the shop, like knee injuries, like all type of, you know what I'm saying, with them.
Trying to put solo
in
you
the workforce after retiring. Go. So it's like, it don't really make sense to me, like, not to work for yourself, especially if you're young, and you're able-bodied, because there is no future in working for somebody else. That's just, in my eyes, that's the way I see it. I mean, because if you look at it, like a lot of our parents, a lot of our grandparents who have been retired from working for 30 years for somebody else have to get another job or a little side hustle or whatever because their retirement money, pension, it ain't what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it's crapped up to be. So I feel like, me personally, make your own business, invest in yourself, become yourself, brand yourself. Like, I mean, best way I can look at it.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times, and I'm just open up everybody, but a lot of times, like whatever job you're working in most cases, you working it to become like, whatever you want to do. Like you doing what you got to do, and so you can do what you want to do. But and like we talk about, like it was. So I guess what would y'all rather do? The people that's watching this, what would you rather do? Would you rather work incredibly hard, but work for yourself, or work an easy job, but it will have to be always under somebody else's administration? Comment what y'all would like if y'all watching this on Facebook or YouTube or wherever. Comment what you would rather do. Starting a business is hard too. It's a lot of work, and something else that's a lot of work is starting a podcast and having a YouTube channel and starting a social media presence and all that stuff. So if you want to support this podcast, this is the Stimulus Podcast, the 5th episode. I think we're getting better every single time. I think I'm becoming a better host at this. I'm getting more comfortable doing it and stuff because I'm kind of a chill person in day-to-day life. But I got to turn it on a little bit for the podcast. But if you think we're doing a good job and we're on the right track with all this, we went from coronavirus to George Floyd to retro tech, all the way down to would you rather and everything. Now we're talking about business. So we run the gamut as far as the topics and the content. And I think we got something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if you think we're doing a good job and you want to support what we're doing in the podcast, like I said, Cash App, you can go to Cash App, $ the Stimulus Podcast, all one word. And you can give us whatever you might want to give us in this time. I know everybody got it hard right now, so I'm not even really tripping about it.
Collecting offerings.
Right, yeah. No,
Right.
no, it's no pressure. It's no pressure to give nothing of a certain amount, because everybody is, But when you get stimulated, when you get that stimulus payment, go ahead and break us off. Stimulus podcast. We got to stimulate the podcast. Give us a stimulus. Speaking of though, we give it back though, because like in the episodes first, like episode 2 and episode 3, I put a little bonus, a little segment in there where I'm saying like if you send us your cash app name and a certain word, I'll give you $20. So like we got a 2-lane street going on, or 2-way street. So if you think we're doing a good job, let us know, and just let us know. Even if you don't give anything, let us know how we doing. Subscribe and all that stuff. The Stimulus Podcast everywhere, same, pretty much the same name. I want to thank all our guests for being a part of the show. Drew, Johnny, Quinn. This is a dope episode. I think it might be our best episode. We're gonna see how the numbers do, but I think, like, personally, I think it's our.
We're just gonna claim it now. It's the best episode.
Yeah. I feel like
you gotta speak those things as they were.
And if it's not, you just gotta have us back so we can do it again.
I was gonna ask y'all.
Exactly.
I was gonna ask y'all, like, afterward, do y'all want? Is something y'all want to come back? Because we gonna need recurring guests anyway, so we might as well.
Yeah, I'm down, bro.
And everybody at home. So I mean, it works out remotely like this. So. Like I said, if you think we're doing a good job, rate us or whatever on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We do gaming and stuff like that under the hashtag Stimulus Gaming. So we giving a good variety of content. So if you want to help us do that, we want to buy some more of these mics and stuff like that, little equipment stuff. You can get us on the Cash App. Like I said, the Cash App is $, the Stimulus Podcast. But with that being said, I'm Duran Shields. Thank you to my special guest, my co-host Vision. You know what I'm saying? This has been the Stimulus Podcast. This has been episode 5. Thank you for tuning in, and we out. Boom. So that's it. Appreciate it, man.